Welcome to Keto Meals and Recipes.com. Today I'll be making a wrap I made for the first time about 4 years ago, because a while ago I came across this recipe and I realized I hadn't videoed it yet. In making sure that this recipe still was as good as I remembered it, I tried several techniques in order to determine which version or technique will work best, especially if you're just learning how to cook. So here's my easy flaxseed wrap that only uses 3 ingredients. And also makes for great chips, which I'll show you at the end of the video. The macronutrient ratio for these wraps is 2:1, with 11.1 grams of total carbs, 3.2 grams of soluble fiber, 7.4 grams of insoluble fiber, resulting in only 0.6 grams of net carb per 75 gram weight of the raw dough. I'd just like to take a moment and discuss a few things if you've never made flax wraps or worked with flax seeds before. The first thing you should know is there are 2 types of flaxseed, the dark and the golden. The darker flax seeds have a stronger taste and create a very dark tortilla. The golden is much lighter in color, as you can see, and also has a much milder taste. So if you're trying flax for the first time, I would strongly suggest you start with the golden flaxseed. I also prefer the golden flaxseed because it doesn't overpower whatever fillings I put in. However, when I make a really hot or spicy filling, I like to use the darker flaxseed because it stands up to the stronger taste of my filling. But the choice is up to you. I'd also like to explain why these flaxseed wraps are a good change of pace and should be put into your rotation at least once in a while. And that's because they have many health benefits. For example, according to the Mayo Clinic's Nutrition and Healthy Eating article, flax seeds' health benefits come from the fact that it's high in fiber and omega-3 fatty acids, as well as phytochemicals called lignans. If you want more information, the link to this website will be posted below. Now to get started. The very first thing you should do is take your whole seeds and even your flax meal and grind it to a very fine flour-like consistency. And also, while you're at it, grind your salt to a very fine consistency. That'll help it blend better. After you've done that, add the finely ground flaxseed flour and salt, or the boiling water, to a large mixing bowl. It doesn't matter which one you add first, but it is very important that you use very hot boiling water and use exactly only 1 cup. When you've added everything into the mixing bowl, you should begin stirring immediately and keep stirring until the water is well combined with the flaxseed flour and salt. You'll notice that the consistency will be very sticky and kind of gelatinous at first. But that's exactly what it's supposed to look at this stage. Just keep mixing for about 2 more minutes. You'll find that as you work with the dough, the texture will improve. To stir, you can use a utensil, but I find I get a much better mixture if I use my hands. It's a bit messy though. To prevent some of the sticking, before you start mixing with your hands, rub some olive oil or coconut oil all over your hands. And when you notice that your dough is starting to be noticeably less sticky, just leave it alone and let it rest between 30 and 60 minutes. The longer the better, because that will enable the water to be completely absorbed by the flaxseed flour, which will get rid of the gelatinous texture. And the dough will be much easier to work with. After your dough has rested, just knead it a couple times and roll it into a smooth ball. Then divide the ball into preferably 4 or 6 sections. Then take one of the sections you've made, roll it into a ball, and flatten it out into pancake shape. Then place on a parchment sheet and cover with a second sheet of parchment. Then using a rolling pin, roll out starting at the center and moving outward. Keep rolling until you have a flat sheet that is about 1/16 of an inch or 2 millimeters thick, and then remove the top parchment sheet. Because this dough is very sticky, it's a good idea to oil the rim of either your pot lid or a bowl, whatever you'll be using to press out the dough for the wrap or the tortilla. And once you've made your indentation, remove the outer dough and save the scraps for later. It's a really good idea to do one of these at a time, so preheat your non-stick frying pan or crepe pan on medium heat. Then very, very lightly grease the pan and place your tortilla into the pan. By greasing the pan, you're going to make it much easier to put your spatula underneath the wrap or tortilla and be able to flip it without tearing it. Fry the first side for about 1 to 1.5 minutes or until lightly golden, and flip and cook the other side until it too is lightly golden, and then remove that from the pan. I'd like to say one word of caution: please do not overcook, or your wraps or tortillas will become very brittle, and then just repeat the process until you've created all of your wraps or tortillas. And don't forget to use all your scraps to make your 5th tortilla. And when you finish pressing your last tortilla, use the leftover dough to make chips. To make really crunchy light chips, just knead the dough for a second and then roll it out as thin as you possibly can make it. And then fry that into a very crispy stage, first on one side and then on the other side as well. Then take that off the heat and let it cool completely. You'll find that once it's cold, it'll snap very easily, and it will have a really nice satisfying crunch, and it makes great chips for dips. Since if you make the entire batch, you may not be using all of your tortillas in one go, here are some storage tips. Store in an airtight container and place 1 layer of parchment paper between each tortilla, and then place the lid on securely. These can be stored in your refrigerator for up to 5 days. However, if you prefer to rotate these a little less frequently, you can put this airtight container into your freezer and they will last well for 2 to 3 months. This was the basic version, and I have a couple suggestions if you want these wraps to be flavored with your favorite spice mixes or create a different flavor profile. For example, you can use my North African spice dry rub or my smoky chipotle dry rub as a spicy ingredient when you're combining your finely ground flaxseed flour. For your convenience, I'll provide the link for both of these in the description below. Whichever is your favorite, plain or flavored, you can fill these wraps with whatever ingredients you like best. But in my next video, I'll be making my nutty avocado spread, something a little different and very tasty, which I used as a filling as you see here. So I hope you will come back and watch that video. For now, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time. The link for the printable, easy flaxseed wraps, 3 ingredients, will be posted in the YouTube description below.